Alright guys, Bailer back with more NieR Replicant. It is the next day. I go to work in less than 2 hours, but I'll spend an hour here playing some NieR because I don't have much else to do. I mean, I could like edit and stuff. I don't like. I've been editing the entire morning since I got up. Really, the Death Stranding video. I got up to the point where I run through the narrative, which yeah, I feel like that's a good break off point. So yeah, we're going to the shore. Yeah, we're rushing through ending B here of NieR. I actually, since the last time I recorded, which was last night, I have watched ending C, D, and E, plus also some like analysis videos on the E ending. So yeah, I mean, just at this point, like, this is just to get footage. Like, I really don't care about ending B here. We're just trying to rush through it.
What's going on?
Sorry for the kind. I said she sensed something strange in the area.
Strange how? Like a shade?
Maybe. I'm not sure. There's some kind of sound or something coming from up ahead.
An incredibly specific
but yeah, I mean, I'm feeling a lot more apt to be writing the video here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to finish the game tonight if I can. If I can. I'm gonna try to finish the video tonight. I would like to get that done tomorrow. I'll try to finish editing my Death Stranding video, and then if I have time, I'll start writing this video. And then I'll try to have this done by Monday, the script for NieR Replicant. So that's kind of the goal there.
We're gonna need to figure out some way to get inside that thing.
This ship is in a state of want and decay. Surely with these planks seem...
You can probably get it.
I'm worried about whatever it is, kinda...
So, were you able to write that letter? You know, now that I've taught you how.
Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much been my morning.
Not yet, huh? Well,
I listened to Live Feed Update already.
You know, it makes me happy that you've taken such a shine to me. First time we met, I didn't have the foggiest idea.
Jeff Probst's video came out, and it is performing solidly. Not great in the grand scheme of things, but definitely better than my recent videos. Like, it's #1 in my last 10, and I believe it is my best performing video in a little while. I believe since my what if video from
How about you come live with me?
the what if Minority Alliances weren't put on, whatever the fuck that video was, which was over a month ago. So I mean, like, that's good enough. I mean, it's on pace for like 6,000 to 7,000 views, which again, not great at the end of the day. Would have liked it to be better, but again, it's good enough. It's like, it's fine. Like, if it did any worse, I would have definitely been underwhelmed.
Wait, is this blood?
But I'm content with how it's performing.
Oh dear. Are you...
Oh, baby, that is one hell of a smell. We got something real nasty nearby, eh, sunshine? Come on, don't tell me you ain't picked up on it yet. You of all people gotta know what this smell means.
This ship is in poor condition indeed. Do try not to thrash about and bring its timbers down around us, hussy.
Whatever.
Yeah, gonna do an episode here. I'm gonna try again. I want to have this game done by tonight.
You sure you're all right, kind of?
Which, I mean, like, I estimated this last night. I think we have about 3 hours left.
You really shouldn't push. Hey, I've got an idea. How about you and me search outside and get some nice fresh air in the process?
Sure.
Sounds good. Take care of Kaine.
The meal is on the case. Come on, Kaine. Let's get the lead out.
Sure. But it's all like just an excuse for you to be alone.
This place is pretty gloomy. I'm having a hard time imagining any townsfolk hanging around here.
We require, well, as we
Shit.
require. Look there.
There's still some.
Okay, so I think at this point, let's go ahead and listen to a podcast, I guess.
Into Peter. I'm looking at it right now.
She is the runaway.
It's not
we heard tell
impossible.
of at the
Because
The L would be easy to go to a
I'm
T.
gonna work on
That
this,
would be
guys.
the easy part.
Yeah, the L would be the T, and that's the third letter. That would work. The J is a big J. If you make the J a very big P, like one of those
Yeah,
little
you
books that has
turn the J, close it off, add the line to the left. I think you guys.
Okay.
This shit.
I think this
Okay.
would work.
There may be clues.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
Ran
Like,
across-
what does it say, Peter? Come on, Aubrey.
It looks.
You're an artist.
Then perhaps
Yeah, ultimately, that decision, or lack of decision, like oversight, ends up being a little costly with her in the like immediate
It's a
when they
bit-
get back to
Wait,
camp,
perhaps
because
the-
Yeah.
it's like, well, you still voted Julia, like
Yeah.
even though you changed your mind. And I do think the psychology of like being in the
Sounds like it came from.
you want like your alliance members want you to exude that confidence, put that confidence in them, that trust in them, that I was always with you all along. So any pause in the booth, I think, is not
This
good.
girl
And then
sure
seeing
went.
this kind of indecision also doesn't come off great for
Yeah.
you, right? Because
The missing-
it makes it seem like you don't like you're not really putting all your trust in your allegiances, and then the people that you've just screwed.
Did you see that?
It doesn't look
Sure.
good either
Hang
there.
on.
So it's multiple levels of that. I think immediately you just want to seem like you were confident from the first place.
But the Julia and Scott relationship is very tight there. Also, the other thing that happens from those pre-swap tribes is that Ty ends up revealing that he has the idol, which then ends up Scott being in the position of being matchmaker. Oh, my friend Jason also has an idol, that we should talk to him. Because then, if both of you have an idol, we can have a super idol. So that's going to set up that relationship with Scott,
Don't
Ty,
see
and
any
Jason
shades around
for
the list.
after the merge,
Fortunate for
which
us.
finally happens.
Now,
We
let
will
no
not
time
get a
be wasted in
merge
our search for the
vote.
townsfolk.
We ultimately will have our second medical evacuation, but things are really cooking at the merge. People are overserved, Jenny.
What do you mean? Why did you say my name?
I feel like you're our resident alcohol
Beverage
expert on the panel.
Wow. Okay, I'll take that. I'll
Yeah.
take that. I mean, I think that's to be expected. It's the merge.
Whatever
They're
that sound was. it
literally
stopped. It
malnourished.
sounded like a girl.
They're barely
Weird,
getting
she's
any
a
food.
voice
They're
pipe.
probably
The
dehydrated.
contraption by which one
And
Which means the girl
you
is in
see
whatever room
wine
this pipe
for the
connects
first
to.
time.
Hold a moment.
I'm going ham. I don't know about that, like
Yes.
you guys, but
This pipe
I think
connects
onward
that's
and,
that's definitely gonna happen. I mean, is it a good game move? Maybe
This
not.
little
But
lantern
I
has
think
brought us
that
quite
when you're
far,
out there, you're
hasn't it?
clinging to any
Yeah.
piece of
The
like
light it gives off
normal
makes me
life
feel
and fun and
safe.
so I mean I'd probably be one of those people
damn.
getting
Perhaps
overserved
it is
at the
wafted.
merge feast.
And it's a very good post-merge of the season. I feel like that up to 2 halves of the season, I definitely feel like that the post-merge is stronger. It's not a bad
Speak to me, lad.
pre-merge,
Are
but I
you
feel like
hurt?
the post-merge is a lot more electric, especially after we get through the Neil medical evacuation. But yeah, it's a 4-4-3 post-merge
thing
where
down here.
we end up
What is
with
that
our
terrible stench?
4 members of the Beauty
I
Tribe,
suspect
4
we may
members
have
of the
fallen
Brains
into the
Tribe,
ship's
and
hold.
3 members of the Brawn Tribe.
The lantern got away
Yeah.
from me during the
So
fall.
like even though,
better
because
look for
obviously you look at the pre jury, the pre-merge, and it looked like Braun was suffering hard right before the swap happened. So for it to be very close, like literally 1 person difference, and then Neil
So
is
what?
the one who's leaving, ends up being a very, very close between the 3 divides, which I always get fascinated by stuff like that, where you get to the end and there's still like a little bit of skin in the race for all 3 tribes that originally
Might I
started. It's
suggest
always
you
interesting to see.
And so Braun Tribe is in a pretty good position, and they can sort of pick which way they want to go.
They are all people from
What I
town.
appreciated about this situation, I mean, I'm not going to be happy for a medevac, but it does kind of save us from what could have been a bit of a steamroll for this Beauty Braun alliance, because Neil being the one, they figure out that Neil has an idol because they can see a bulge in his pocket, and Jason knows.
Sydney spots it.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
But the guys,
Enough, lad.
they see it, and Jason recognizes the shape of the idol because he's seen it.
Yeah.
He has one. And so, I mean, that's their biggest target on the brain side. They're not going to go for him at the merge if they have the opportunity. They talk about taking out Aubrey. Instead, splitting the votes and hopefully flushing the idol, and they get their wish by just having him walk away with the idol. And I think that really probably changes the dynamic a little bit, because it kind of does the work for them without having the unifying vote. Because that's the thing with like an alliance, is like it's all well and good until you can actually lay your cards on the table and say, listen, like, hey, we've now voted together, we've now done, made an action that's proven that this is a thing, we all voted together. And I think that, it really seemed like the Beauty were going to just get decimated at that point. And because I think that alliance of Beauty and Braun didn't have that opportunity to vote together early on in the merge, they didn't get to lock it in, and there was a lot of time for other things to happen. So
They talk about that
sorry,
6 days
Neil.
in between tribals, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Neil, but like,
really down in the dumps.
I mean, I do feel like this medevac could have been something that ended up making this post-merge a lot more interesting than it could have been.
Yeah, because Booyah, the vote that would have happened seemingly was going to be, well, we think Neil has an idol, so we're going to flush it, and then Aubrey is going to go home at this final tribal council. And so when you kind of look at this season and you say, hey, Aubrey should have won, really, final destination, Aubrey should have got voted out of the merge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that butterfly, like, that changes Aubrey's trajectory, in my opinion, because I feel like this is the beginning of the metamorphosis of Aubrey. Like,
Yes.
I know we've seen it leading to the merge, but Aubrey losing Neil and not getting an idol, and having to literally start from scratch, is where we get the Aubrey
This is
goes
a lone
on to
child sitting
more
inside a hulking
That
ship
the
littered with
season
corpses.
ends
Something
up
is clearly
really
amiss.
shifting, I think, the point of view here to a lot of like Aubrey's POV on the season, and you really, I think you see this story mostly as told by Aubrey. This is where she gives her famous confessional about the survivors like the Oregon Trail, where you go along and then somebody gets dysentery along the way. Of course, she's so good at all the metaphors, and she does a really great job of telling her story here, and then also where she doesn't get the idol from Neil, and then she's like a really key part of these next couple of votes. So this is where I think, Jenny, as a viewer, you start to really sympathize and root for Aubrey.
Yeah, and also something that I really appreciate about her, and maybe it kind of is to a detriment to her, because we hear people asking for her to be confident in the final tribal council, is that she's never bragging, she's never egotistical. Like, when she's up, she's so aware about how quickly her luck can change. She has she talks so much about how things can quickly change for her, and she talks so much about her luck in the game, but like, she gets emotional, she gets upset, but she never gives up. And I think that, like, how else are you going to get people to root for you? Like, you can totally understand why people are backing Aubrey, because certainly, Scott and Jason, after they get betrayed by Ty, you're not rooting for them. They're not likable villains, like, or underdogs. Like, it's Aubrey who's like, sometimes things go her way, and then things are just getting back on track, and then something else happens. And she's so good at, like, the awareness of it, and you know, I don't know, she just has like an awareness of her game that I don't think that a lot of players often do in their confessionals, where I think that a lot of people are always the hero of their own story, and I don't think that Aubrey ever acts like she's got everything on lock. She's aware of her strengths, she's aware of the element of luck, and she's so good at like articulating it through the entire game.
And like I think that's important in this season in particular, because we did talk about how there are a lot of self-assured people, and in the middle of all the self-assured people, the person who's constantly questioning themselves, their presence there, their capabilities of doing it, and then transferring into a more self-assured person by the end, that kind of storyline is something you want, and we wouldn't have gotten that had Neil not having to leave. Which, by the way, Rob, let's say you're in the Neil spot, which, you know, not like dissing you, right? But like, you're self-assured, you're like, you love the game, you're trying to play, you relate to Jeff because you both, you know, 15 years has been a long way, here's where you are. You don't get to fulfill your game that you wanted to play. But you can part ways with the idol and give it to your alliance member, or you take it home as a souvenir. What do you do?
It's so selfish to take it home as a souvenir. I think we've seen two instances of this where a player is evacuated from the game and then ends up taking the hidden immunity idol with them. That is one Neil here in this spot, and then probably more famously Colton in Survivor One World. And I feel like that if you're in a category with those two guys, I feel like you're probably not doing something right.
Yeah, I feel like there's plenty of souvenirs that you will have, or you could have as a memento. You don't,
or you could lose it like poor Andrea Belkey did. Like, you know, it's not even a guarantee you're gonna have that forever. She kept her immunity idol and lost it in the streets of New York. Like,
I mean, are you a purist and say like, hey, look, nobody should have this. This is I found this, and it would be, you know, unfair to the game to give it away. Or do you sort of like, are you like a bride at a wedding and you just like throw it over your shoulder and then whoever catches it?
When you get voted out of a game like this, when your shot is over, and this, I'm talking from like how I think that I would feel, or that you should feel. When your shot is over, you pour your interest into another person.
You would like to see someone bequeath the immunity idol.
They become the avatar for, it's like I had, you know, I was a part of that. It's like they were my person, we were working together. If I'm not gonna win, I want this person to do well. So if I have a way of helping them, this literally does nothing for me. Like, it is a stick, well, more than just an effing stick, but it's just fiber and wood, probably.
It's just fiber and wood.
It's just fiber and wood. Like, you could
make a replica.
Really impact the game. Like, but maybe you're thinking like, okay, well, you know, I could have been voted out with this. Like, this wasn't part of my game plan to like pass this off to Aubrey. So
I think I would do it because Booyah, if I give you the hidden immunity idol, like, you're gonna tip me out at the end of the season, right?
You're gonna take me on a trip or
like,
something.
Yeah, give me a banner book or something.
Yeah, I can get you a computer. I mean, definitely.
At least a Chromebook. Yeah.
Booyah and I played an org together. Oh, I'm just like throwing that out there. Once upon a time, and I got voted out before. And this is, we're not talking about sequester. We don't talk about it. So when I got voted out, this actually had like a bequeathing type function in it, and so I chose to bequeath something to Booyah to help him in the game. Like, I just think that that's what you should do if you have the opportunity.
I mean, you got me DoorDash or something, right? If I give you the idol and you win?
100%. DoorDash, I would buy you steak in the company. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is that I would want to be a part of, you know, I don't get to be in the game anymore. I want to still be a part of the story, and by me helping a friend out, that's what I'm doing. Because honestly, especially in this day and age, like, there are NC shops that give me a replica of the idol I have. Make it and be like, okay, you see that? You got that, that's easy. They're not going to go fact check me. So, like, it's fine. I'll have my souvenir and the help.
And Rob, you know this better than anyone else on this panel. You come home with more than enough things that you can consider souvenirs from your experience on Survivor.
Do we
like,
get it?
I don't think, I don't know. If it's something that can actually impact the game that's still going on, I think I want that person to do well.
Well, I felt like that they really added insult to injury on the NieR medevac when the very next episode, the first reward after he was gone. All right, today's reward is who wants ice cream? It's an ice cream reward. Now that Neil's gone, we don't have to worry.
I forgot there's more.
Time for a big ice cream reward.
Someone on production, like, hated Neil and just decided that, like, you know, maybe that cut wasn't actually that bad. And he's gone and, like, now we're bringing up the ice cream.
Or maybe, like, they thought they couldn't do it while he was there because he'd be like, oh, this ice cream is terrible. This is no... Three brothers. Yes.
See, the fact that I remember that is...
Three twins?
Oh, is it 3 twins?
No, it's 5 brothers. 3 twins makes no sense.
But also...
Yeah. And I'm sure Neil's a nice enough guy. We're just talking about what was up on the episode.
I'll learn to forgive you after what you said.
It is 3 twins.
Yes, there you go.
Okay, well, Puya, you win.
Puya, you got it.
Well, I hate that I corrected you. That's worse than thinking
All
it was
right,
3
you're
brothers.
the Neil Gottlieb expert on the panel.
Neil Gottlieb stand, yeah.
There you go. Second chances too. I already got a gig.
Yeah.
Add that to your bio.
I will say that was after Neil got medically evacuated. I also remember he was the mayor of Ponderosa then, and in his Ponderosa video, he was on the rowing machine, I'm training for my second chance to come back, and not joking, he's earnestly hey, yeah, I'm out of this game, but I'm already training for when I come back.
Well, yeah, and imagine. I feel like I'd be sad for Neil now when I imagine the fact that he literally watched a bunch of people from his season go back to play multiple times. Caleb, who got medevac, got another chance to go
medevac
back.
Way earlier in the game. Neil at least had more. Yeah, I could see Neil being okay, I got medevac from the game too, and I had an idol at the time, and it was the merge. And Caleb, it was the 3rd episode or something.
Neil was way more of a game changer than these fuck outputs.
If this continues.
Yeah. But what are you gonna do? Hey,
he
look,
he was voted off of the jury. That's you can spin that more into you can spin that more into a story of being a game changer than
Sure. And Neil's had incredible success in business. Probably more than.
Which I believe this fight was
good for him on that. But it didn't go his way this far.
Fuck that.
I will say, his attitude when he gets voted off of the jury at first, he seems okay. But then I thought that it was gonna go way worse at first because I thought he was gonna get really mad, and then he just kind of laughed.
Yeah, he's a little snotty.
I hate to make this a little sad. 3 twins shut down April 2020.
Oh no.
God.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Bring him back. Now bring him back, guys.
Bring him back. The world's reopening. Come on. All right. So,
yeah, just bring the ice cream back.
Anyway, we're primed and ready after the NieR medevac because a lot of focus on the Mayo Jar, who does win the first immunity of the season, and he's really feeling it. He's in a good spot with Scott and Jason, and feeling that he's in such a good spot that he's sees Aubrey as somebody loose electron. Hey, let me work on picking her up because basically she is going to get some votes coming her way, but she's probably not the target as they're trying to flush the idol. Maybe Neil gave it to her. Maybe he didn't, and so he's telling her to vote for Debbie or for Joe. But there's also some worry about the Women's Alliance, and Nick very publicly goes up to the beauties after a reward and asks Julia and asks Michelle about it, and Sydney doesn't like it.
What the hell are you doing? Stop him already!
Sydney is she said that he's the most indiscreet person ever. She sees him approach Julia, and is very obvious that I think they went on a boat ride or something.
He's very mysterious, the Mayo Jar.
He's got a little bit intrigued too, I'm
Yeah.
sure. But the thing, and this is something that I love about Sydney, is that like she doesn't take any crap, and she's like when she does get like upset, it's like she's very straight about it. And she calls him out in front of the other, like, so it's like Nick and Scott and Jason.
You're gonna get yourself killed.
You don't need to check, like, you don't need to get Nick to check
Don't
up
check
on
me, boo.
Do not check me, boo. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Don't check me, boo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, Sydney is like rightfully frustrated because you know, like the guys get to do whatever they want. They can,
Right.
and it's like she gets in a boat with the other two girls for a little like boat ride, and suddenly now it needs to be a conversation about is there a girls alliance?
Yes. And enough has not been said about Sydney yet on this podcast.
Oh my
She also
gosh,
wears a flawless hat, Booyah, that is made from the top of the rice container.
I dug it. Those facts.
Look,
Yeah.
I agree.
So, there's concern about a women's alliance, but how about this? How about now there is a women's alliance? You manifested
It's
it,
so
guys.
depressing.
Nice going.
good job.
Good job. There wasn't one, and then you kept asking about one, and now there is one.
They manifested it.
Yeah. That's like when I asked Nicole that, are you okay? You seem like you're not okay. Like, well, I was okay, but now you asked me if I'm okay, and now I'm not okay. Because you asked me, you kept asking me.
Together.
That's how
I
it
was
works.
fine.
That's
Yeah.
scientific.
Nick tries to go to Aubrey and says, like, hey, like, you're in a bad spot. Like, we'll come and pick you up. And this ends up, like, spiraling into a bunch of the women who, like, what about Nick?
Well, like, that's the other thing is that, like, you know, the guys are kind of getting, like, this thing going, and Nick's talking about it. He's like, I'm in a great spot. And, like, he really could have been in a good spot. And, like, I think that this is when some of, you know, the women are starting to pick up on the fact that, like, you know, Jason and Scott are not super well-liked people. This is, like, we're not even at the point where they get super bad, but, like, these are traits that are already popping up long before the, you know, hiding of the machete of it all. And so I think that people are starting to you know, see that, okay, we know what Jason and Scott are about. They are not, you know, they're gonna make enemies. They're not super well liked. Nick is kind of hanging out in the center, and again, he kind of falls into this trap of, like, he's with the guys, but he's kind of, like, he hangs out with Aubrey sometimes, and it is kind of like the perfect thing to go for, where it's like he's getting too big for his britches, and he's in a good position. Let's take this piece out.
Yeah. And so we end up with this great blindside of Nick, where the 5 women and Joe all vote for Nick. Jason and Scott voted for Aubrey. Inexplicably, yeah, Ty voted for Jason.
I still don't understand that.
Didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
We all
So,
knew
I
talent.
think-
I never
I
imagined.
don't
the
care.
mayor full-on hurdle.
Alright, let's go. There's
Oh,
someone else.
not that.
Yeah, and it begins and ends for me. Like, obviously, his cockiness
Oh, this actually
became
took a while,
because
yeah.
he was initially talking about how he felt like Jason and Scott were being very arrogant, very cocky, and then he, again,
Lied to
did
her, I
it to
guess.
himself. He kind of put it out there, and then he became
Doesn't
it.
matter.
But I think, obviously, being so obvious during the Unity challenge, where he was like, well, okay, I thought Sydney had it anyways. I just wanted to make sure all the brains got off, and, like, that's not a good look at all. I think the thing with Ty that happens in this tribal that I can't get over is Ty just straight up talks about the super idol.
Yeah.
And explains that. And then, in a panic, quotes
Well, this is even
Jason.
more fucking depressing. I already told her he
People
died.
are like, wait, well, I didn't know about Super
Now
Idol.
she thinks
What
it's
about
her
Super Idol?
fault.
It's like, oh, did I say Super Idol?
Someone's lying to me.
Yeah.
Tone to think we'll never hear.
But I didn't say Super Idol. I didn't say anything about Super Idol. Yeah. Can't put that toothpaste back in the tube once it's out.
Do not let
And
it
so,
We're just talking about another season. Did you not see that one? It was
No,
a
it's
thing
on
that
Popular.
happened or something. I don't know. You didn't hear about
Scott and Jason are real peeved about this, about that they are very mad, especially at Sydney. She betrayed them. How could she do this? time for some psychological warfare. We're gonna wage a psychological war, and that is going to be involving hiding the axe, hiding the machete. Need to remind everybody who the providers are around here.
Isn't it like slightly physical warfare? Like in a bit of a way? Like they're trying to physically deprive them.
Yeah.
So
The hell's this, Sunshine?
A letter. That thing wrote it for the postman.
Ha! Man, that is some grade A chicken scratch.
She probably copied the letters as best she could.
So, what's it say?
It says thank you,
I
right?
think our friend's gonna wake up soon. Let's go.
That's so depressing.
I mean, I understand why it's psychological warfare, but it borders on it like a little bit of a literal like physiological deprivation.
Just a
I think like the way they did it, it's layered, right? First it's physical, and then the physical, like the longevity of it, will equal into psychological. But I think if they wanted it to go too psychological, what they wouldn't have done is made it clear that they were the ones who did it. I think they still would have thought it was them, but when Scott just straight up walks in and says, "Well, I'm mad because they figured out a way to live without the machete and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna pour water in public."
Yeah, so they say, ha ha ha, we took the axe, we took the machete, it's over for them. And then they end up cracking the machete open with a saw. And so Scott's
And then
like,
he goes to light
well, then he just takes a bucket of water and pours it on the fire.
And he's like, they're just rubbing it in now. It's like, yeah, because you pulled the first dick move by
Life found a way.
It's like, yeah, they're going to get excited when they can prove to you that, okay, we don't actually need you. Like, this is our statement back, and he's like, oh, well, now they're just rubbing it in my face. It's like,
Yeah. So
you created the situation, bro.
we have some interesting challenges and challenge divides in this season. So they go on a reward challenge
Alright, stop
right
the
after
Popola.
this. And so
We'll
we talk about the
save.
division in the tribe, and Jeff says,
And I
well, look,
think
seems like you guys are
I mean, all that we have
why don't you
left.
just pick the
This is all we have
tribes
left. We have to end the game,
for
obviously. We have the
two
15,
sides.
finish off the 15
And so I
nightmares.
thought this was very interesting on
And
Jeff's
then we
part.
have,
It ends up being Ty,
Cerberus, little
Scott, and
Cerberus.
Jason, and if it's a 4-on-4 challenge and somebody's gonna sit out.
Which again is a
And
little bit
so
over 2 hours left, I
then,
think. Something in that range.
Julia says, well, I'll run this contest with the guys. And like, okay, fine. And
This is the
Joe,
worst choice.
and
You
Joe
wanna
who's
eat.
sitting out, they say you can have the reward if you pick which team is gonna win. Joe picks the women. He does the opposite of what Julia does. And some of the women feel like, well, this was very sus. That
Shades on the coast,
Julia
the
very
ferryman
quickly
dead.
ditched
You've had
the
quite
other
the rough
women
trip.
to go and be with them. And Debbie says, no,
That poor ferryman used to tell me stories of the epic quarrels he had with his wife.
She just likes
He found the
Chinese
whole
food.
thing quite amusing.
That's it. We don't need to worry about her. She's golden.
He loved her, though. He
Yeah.
loved her with all that he
This is
was.
where you do the
And
opposite
still,
of what
you made
Aubrey
it back
did at the
safe.
voting booth,
And I'm
you
glad for that.
full on hesitate. You're like, look around, take your time, and they're like, if no one else wants to do it, I guess I'll do it.
Have you any
Wanna make
new
it seem like you're doing
information
everyone else
about
a
the key
favor,
to the Shadow
But I
Lord's
guess
castle?
based on how quickly she responded, it was like, okay, that was a little
I'm
too
still
quick.
working on the
She's fully
decryption.
here. And
I'm
here's the
afraid
problem.
progress has
She's
stalled.
never fully able to shake this off.
Loyal
afterwards.
Cerberus
Like,
might
for the
refer
rest
to a
of the time
dog,
she's on
but
the
I've
game.
never seen anything
Debbie
that
or
would fit the
Julia?
bill.
Julia.
Julia.
Debbie,
must be pretty complicated if even you can't decode it.
Debbie was like,
Sure.
you're just Chinese food
you're
enthusiast,
our-
that's all you really are.
By
She's
the
like, I
way,
totally
I was walking
get
by your
it.
house
She's
earlier.
fine. That's the last of my worries that Julia is
Oh,
going to. Meanwhile, Julia is
since
like,
the ferryman was
okay,
missing,
here's
I'll
what's
make
going
sure-
on. Okay, I'm with you guys. I'm going to go back and tell the women and I'll come back and tell you how they're
The
voting.
world
I
relentlessly
mean,
continues
I will
to
say
turn.
that Debbie did have a point in that someone was going to have to do it, but and I'm sure that like we're saying, like Julia probably could have eventually stepped up, but you really needed to make it seem like if no one else is going to do it, you have to like belabor it really and make it seem like okay, okay, guys, I'll do it. Like, you know, show, like, you're like, oh, fine, guys, I guess I'll do it and go win Chinese food and be able to talk strategy with these people that I'm actually going to be trying to work with.
Yeah.
I guess I'll do it. But yeah, it was just a little, I mean, also it could have been edited that way. I don't know, but it did seem like a pretty snap decision. I was like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But I did love that Joe made a statement of being like, no, I'm picking the women.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, in here again, I'm gonna try to finish this tonight if I can. We'll see.
We then see right after that, of course, the men win this challenge and they go and get the Chinese food and back in camp. But that's it.